Hi, this is Morgana Star, and welcome to Monday morning viewer mail. So the purpose of these videos is to give you an opportunity to ask questions if you miss them in our lives, because sometimes it's hard to tune in at the particular times that we're doing live free readings. So send your questions in that you want me to cover with the angels. Send them to either angelsoasis1@gmail, or you can send them in a private message to me directly, either to my professional page, Morgana Star Spiritual Counselor, or to my personal page. Either one's fine. So let's dive in and let's deal and talk about some things that are coming to the surface first before we get into the question and answer time. As you well know, we're going through craziness, a time of upheaval, people having to face their shadows, whether they really deal with them or they just run off screaming, that dark side of themselves, or how they deal with other people is coming to the surface. So when you're quarantined, you're really faced with having to take that time to deal with some inner issues. And I would say the thing that I'm seeing happen for the spiritual community that is very disturbing to me, and now has told me to be quiet about certain things that I'm told from her until the time is right, because it's not really important for humanity to know at this time. So she tells me at certain times when I'm supposed to speak and be public about it and when I'm not. And I don't understand her strategy, but she's an archangel. I'm not going to argue with her. So I'm just her mouthpiece. And so she really wants this brought out, how the spiritual community is not as united as we should be at this time. And this goes from the spiritual leaders all the way down to the newly awakened ones. So for those of you that don't know my past, I was raised in Africa in the wilds, missionary child, isolated, in what's now I couldn't even think of the name, Zimbabwe, across from Zaire, or Zambia. I don't know where Zaire came from. Anyway, we were on the top of a mountain and overlooking the Zambezi River, and on the other side was Zambia. We had to leave the mission field because of terrorists coming across, and had a choice of either coming to America, or my parents would put us in a boarding school, and they made the choice to come back to America. That's a story for another video, and the trauma that I had to work through, and my own shadows that arose in that time. But my dad, being the minister that he was, and he wasn't just a minister that had a church and took care of that one church. He did that at different times, but then he evolved into being a church camp director, and so there were 70 churches in the country, or in the state of Indiana, that followed and were a part of that church camp. So we would go visit these different churches. There'd be other churches that we'd go visit and stuff. And there's a reason for me sharing this, because this is the dark underbelly side of religion and the dogma. Lots of criticism. Lots and lots of criticism. And they feel very justified in their criticism, because there is a verse in the Bible that says that God will make you judges. And it's kind of twisted. The interpretation is twisted a bit, as many people tend to do. So, for example, what we would do, our favorite thing to do was a Sunday dinner, after we'd gone to church and we listened to a different minister speak or whatever, was pick the minister apart, pick his sermon apart, criticize him personally. It was just a free-for-all. And my understanding was what I saw with other people when I went to Bible college. They did the same thing. So this wasn't just my family that was doing this. This was a pretty typical Christian way to pass time. Very destructive, very negative. It caused you to be more critical of yourself and of everybody else in every aspect of your life, and we thought we were justified in doing so. So this is what I found in the spiritual community so many times, because religion has played such a huge part in society for the last 2,000 plus years. The dogma has seeped in, and we're not even aware. We're not even aware that we are being religious when we're trying to be spiritual. So let that sink in for a minute and think about it. Do you really want to keep those patterns, that programming of, I'm going to place a judgment on you because I see you doing this, and apparently you're that way, so I'm just going to say, oh, that's the way that person is, and then you spread gossip, which is like the feathers in the wind. You know, you take a feather pillow and you let the wind take all the feathers, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I was wrong about that person, and I was wrong in my judgments, so I need to go pick up all those feathers. Guess what? It's impossible to get them all. So that's where the angel's coming in and hitting people hard and saying, you gotta stop this. You need to be united right now. This is a lesson in this whole pandemic that we're in the middle of, whether it's real, whether it's not real, whether the government's a part of it, whether the government's not a part of it. We're focusing on the wrong things, guys. We need to focus on unity and love and say, okay, so here's an example. You choose to run around and not wear a mask. Okay, your choice. I'm not going to place judgments. I'm not going to say whatever might go through my head and whatever story I want to make up about it. Same thing with, you're going to wear a mask. You're going to stay inside. You're going to isolate. So don't make up a story about that for people either. Because here's the thing. When I get in the car, I put a seatbelt on. It's not because I'm scared. It's because I'm careful. I'm cautious. I'm covering my bases. So I personally am doing the same thing right now. And I know some people have placed judgments on me and others saying, oh, you're in a state of fear. No, I'm not scared. There's no fear. It's just caution. And in my mind, it's just common sense. Doesn't matter whether it's somebody else's common sense or not, because everybody's different. We gotta quit judging. We gotta quit making stories up in our heads. It's so much of getting caught in media hype and media programming on both sides, guys, that we get lost in who we are. We're beings from another planet. We're here to help this planet, this earth that we love. And we have, as a human race, really messed up. So the earth is resetting herself right now and inviting all of the human race to start resetting themselves. Look for the common. I have a dear friend that we do not agree on politically at all. We're on opposite ends. But I love her. And when some subject might come up about it, I'll say, well, you know what, honey, we're not going to agree on that. So let's talk about something else, because guess what? I love you. And I always end that with a big hug, and she hugs me back, and we're just going to love each other. That's the way we're supposed to be, guys. The other stuff we can deal with in other areas, but if we don't deal with our internal battles and struggles and reprogram ourselves to becoming those beings of light that we're supposed to be, we're not going to get anything out of this pandemic, and it will happen again and again and again. And I don't know about you, but I'm over it. So let's learn the lesson so we don't repeat history, and we just love and we go in unity. So I dropped my phone that has my messages on it. So I'm going to look up my some of the questions that we had. Okay, so Kathy asked a question. I really like this one. Sometimes you guys are sending in some long questions, and they're very insightful, so keep doing that. I love it. And keep sending in specific questions. I'll be able to answer better that way. So her question is, I know people are on short tempers, but why, with all my kindness and love, I try to show, but few accept it. Therefore, I don't understand why they, a few of them, have turned on me like rabid dogs, accusing me of total lies. I've prayed to the divine to surround them with all their spirit guides and angels. Please ask if I've done something wrong. So Kathy, what Anel is saying for you is, honey, you've not done anything wrong, and yet you have. So here's the have that you did, and it's only because you have such a beautiful heart. You haven't broken the codependency. Codependency is a curse of empaths, and you're a very powerful empath and a powerful healer because of that. And Kathy, as long as you're worried about making people happy and trying to change the way they think into a place of love when they're in turmoil, you fall under the codependency trap. Here's the thing with you. You have a gift to see someone's potential. But guess what? They're sitting on it, and they're not going to do anything with it. So the angels say what you're to do is just to send love. Use that pyramid. I know you know how to use it. Breathe it in. Shoot it out through your heart. Then you're done. Cut the karmic ties. There's a video about that I put out. It's not your job to save people that do not want to be saved. It's kind of like being in the ocean and you're starting you see someone starting to drown, and you rush after them and you start bringing them ashore, but they're pulling at you and they pull you under. So that's the pattern that needs to be broken. So if there's anything you've done wrong, it's only because you haven't broken that pattern yet. But the fact that you see it shows you can. And every powerful healer has broken that connection and probably reconnected again and had to break it again, because it's kind of like falling off a horse or off a bike. You have to get back on again, get back on again, and you just start again. So you got this, Kathy. Just bring in that healing energy for yourself first, and also reach out to me, private message me when you're really ready to get some in-depth training to become that, embrace that powerful healer that you are, and we can set up a call about our 8-week course, because it will change your life, and you're definitely ready for that. So Maria, oh, by the way, Kathy, I love you. And I'm really proud of you. The angels are going, make sure that she knows that we love her too. And we got her back. And keep calling on Anel. She'll bring in those other angels that you need when you need them. Don't call on the whole group, because it'll just be a whole mess of all these angels and no one's going to be able to sort it out. Maria says, thank you for answering our questions, and you're very welcome. I'm glad to give this service. I'm waiting on a waiting list for an apartment. Can you see if that's good for me? And they're just going, it's party time, Maria. It is freaking party time. So they're excited. I'm getting chills from head to toe. They said, yes, yes, yes. Be patient. It's coming. It will come all in the right time, and it's going to be perfect. And they're going, it's a breath of fresh air. So you're on the right track. Good job. And Rhonda, she said in a previous question and answer we had, she forgot to ask what Metatron was trying to tell me. Now, Metatron is Archangel Metatron, not Megatron, the Transformer. I always get a kick out of that. He actually thinks it's kind of funny too. But Metatron is the angel of sacred geometry. He is the angel of alchemy. He actually was embodied, one of his embodiments was Saint Germain. So amazing, powerful archangel, and works very closely with Archangel Azrael and Anel, and he brings in the logical thinking. So I've channeled him for other people, more of his fierce side, and his fierce side basically is I'm not going to just work with anybody. And he doesn't. Some of the angels will, at least for a time, but he, no. And he'll come in and help me from time to time when I need to work on my thoughts. And this is part of what he's telling for you, Rhonda, too, is getting your thoughts in line. Okay, analytical brain. He's connecting both sides of your brain together. So what you know with spirit will make sense with the 3D. So the world that we call real world that we feel here, he's going to make sense out of it on a spiritual level. And he says she's not drinking enough water. He is telling me that more electrolytes than water, like coconut water, would be really good for you right now. And that's another thing. I mean, you want someone that's going to help you rearrange your DNA and help you on that kind of healing angel. Metatron is your person. Your person. Don't call him a person. Don't call me a person. I'm an angel. So that's definitely something to be aware of. And if you ever want a session where I'm just channeling him directly, we can book that. Anytime I channel in an angel and I do a channel, it overlays, and so it's like I become their voice, and it's a little draining for me, so I always have to plan those times and make sure that I've got time to rest and eat afterwards. And with an angel like Metatron, he can just knock your socks off. Amazing energy, very healing for you. Okay, so David wants to know the names of my archangel and guardian angel. So it's interesting. You ask about your archangel and your guardian angel. So just a side note, and more information is going to come out in our book Angel Whispers very soon. And what will happen with the what I want you to know is everyone has guardian angel. The guardian angel is your particular angel, and everyone has one. The first and most important thing is make a connection with that guardian angel. He's your BFF. Don't ignore him. Don't be jumping off and going and talking to all these other angels until you have that connection with your guardian angel. It's step by step. And that angel, your guardian angel, will make sure that no other angel comes around that is not vibrating where you need that. Because not all angels are for the good of humans. And that's why the angels, the Elohim, and those angels that we work with, they want that to work with us and help us evolve. And they have to go head to head with some of those others to keep them away from us. So here's the thing that I want to, let's go back to your guardian angel, because your archangel, not everyone has an archangel. If an archangel is around you, you're going to get freaking busy, and you really are going to expand your gifts. You're going to touch humanity in a way that other people are not able to. So, let's bring this back to your guardian angel at this point, David, because I'm feeling like there is something around you that is very powerful, which would be that arc, just kind of watching to see if you're going to take the first steps. Oh, angels and their names. I got to explain this before I tell you your angel's name. They're long. They're so complicated. The language is at such a high frequency that it's hard to translate. So they come down and they simplify. They dumb it down for us, basically. So your angel's name is, he keeps saying, my name's Sherman. It's Sherman. So talk to me. And I need you to know this, and everyone that's watching. One of my most advanced students, her angel's name is Pete. And you think, Pete? Well, what kind of angel is that? He's a freaking powerful angel. That's who he is. Sherman's the same way. And Sherman wants to he wants you to know that it's kind of like, he goes, I'm like a Sherman tank. So he's going into like the army mode. So he's powerhouse. Get connected with him. Start talking to him. If you need more help on how to connect, we can set up a session, take some of our classes, and just PM me if you need some more information on that. And then Robin, and then we'll close with this one. You wanted to know who your angel is too, and your angel is very not as forthcoming as David's, because I'm not telling you. I'll tell her. She needs to listen. So she says, Robin, that she's been trying to tell you anyway, and you're not hearing her. So take more time to meditate. We do have a stress relief for spiritual seekers course that you can purchase online and watch and listen and learn how to go in to meditate on a deeper level, and start listening. And they'll tell you their name. They're more concerned with your connection with them than what you call them. So I love you guys, and send me more questions. We will, and then also send me a question about what you might want me to cover in the first part of my Monday morning viewer mail. And because I'm doing this just to be of service for all of you at this time. And love you all, and we will see you next week.